Hey guys, welcome to a new kind of vlog. So it's been a while since I've done a Q&A or an Omegle or any type of thing like that. So for today's vlog, I decided to pick 15 questions. I'm holding up 10, but there's like a 10 and a 5. I decided to pick 15 questions from my Ask.fm channel and answer them in this video. I tried to pick questions that are pretty commonly asked questions, so hopefully yours is in here. If not, feel free to always head on over to my Ask.fm because I do try to answer some questions as much as I can over there. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question is, I still consider myself quite new to your channel, so I don't know if you've mentioned it before, but what is your job at Twitch, and does the traveling get old sometimes? So my job at Twitch is kind of multitasking and doing a lot of different things, but it's largely revolving around what we call partner experience, which basically means anything that involves getting our partnered broadcasters and the streamers that you probably watch on Twitch enjoying the experience that they have on our website. I deal with that. So anything that involves like partner parties or events at conventions or meet and greet sessions. I also handle a lot of other projects that we have going on that I can't really talk to you about just yet. I handle a lot of convention activities, and I also do a lot of things revolving around the charity work that we do at Twitch. So working with a lot of the charities like St. Jude and Extra Life and Game Changers to make sure that our partners are involved, and if there's a big event, helping them get the involvement from broadcasters that they need. And does the traveling get old sometimes? Kind of, not really. On months like this month where I was supposed to be doing a lot of travel, but I'm also moving and it's Boo's spring break. There were a lot of things that were going on this month. So the travel can get hectic, but I really enjoy it. I like kind of getting out of the house and getting to experience new places and getting to meet new people. And I don't know, now that I have my TSA pre-check certified and I travel pretty easily, it's not so bad. When I was on the TSA watch list, which is a real story, you can go back and look at a different vlog if you haven't watched that. Traveling was a nightmare for me and I hated it. But now that that's all been resolved, it's actually a pretty good experience. So the next question is, what is the most memorable moment of your career on YouTube? Man, that's a tough question. I mean, I've gotten to do a lot of really cool things because of YouTube, but I do think it was really neat to be able to go to Disney and shoot the Disney commercial that I did with Jordan for the Disney Infinity. That was kind of cool. And it was the first time that a lot of people in my family gave any validity to what I was doing, instead of like, oh, you're just sitting at home playing on your computer, like not doing anything, oh, this YouTube thing. Like, it was the first time that a lot of people realized that this could be a career, and it made me seem, I guess, more legitimate in my family's eyes. So that was a really unique thing for me. And then to be able to watch Boo, we're watching Disney Channel and then the commercial comes on and, you know, my kid's like, Mommy, you're on TV. Like, that was a really cool experience that I've never been able to do had it not been for YouTube. So that was pretty freaking cool. What kind of tattoo do you have? Personal question, but I'm going to be a tattoo artist one day. Love from Sweden. So I have 2 tattoos and I am getting one currently removed. I get this question asked all the time. I have a small, like, tribal fairy pixie thing on my back, and I just don't like it. It's not the tattoo that I don't necessarily mind, it's the placement, and it's one of those ones that I got when I was 18 and very naive and thought it was going to be a great idea at the time, and now that I'm 28 and a mom, it's not really my jam. So I'm getting that one removed. Yes, laser removal sucks and it hurts really bad. So anyone, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, you should think about it for like a month and a half or 2 months before you actually go and get it. Like, just don't decide on a whim that you're going to do it like I did. And I have a second one that I got when I was 17, and it's teeny tiny. It's like the size of like a nickel. It's really tiny, and it's a hot big butterfly on my hip. So those are my 2 tattoos. I'm not I don't hate tattoos. I don't think people shouldn't get them, but I would never. I'm not gonna get any more after getting it removed. Yeah, I'm good on tattoos. Besides YouTube, do you have any other hobbies? Yes. I don't get to do them very often, but I definitely have other hobbies. I used to own a company where I would do like sewing and embroidering, and I would make kids clothing. So I've made tons of outfits for Boo. I love sewing and making quilts and dresses and even stuff for me. You can go back again on my Instagram, and I think even on my Pinterest page there's a section of like stuff that I've made that you can go check out. So I love sewing. I love anything that's like crafty, scrapbooking, painting. I love making all of like Boo's Valentine's things for her classes. I love crafting. I also love writing. I started a book a really long time ago, like probably 4.5 years ago, and I got it mostly done, and I've just been sitting on it. I've been thinking about releasing it on Wattpad just because it's like almost done, and it would be cool to like twice a month bring out a chapter and post it on Wattpad for you guys to see, because I don't really ever think it's going to get published. I don't think I'm like that great of a writer, but I do think the story's really cool. So yeah, those are my other hobbies. If you could go on vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go? I would go to Bora Bora. If I could go anywhere in the world and not have to like not have a budget and not do anything, that's where I would go. I've never been anywhere tropical in my life, and I would love to go stay on one of those like huts that they have that's just like in the ocean and just sleep with, in my mind there's no bugs in Bora Bora, so like in my mind you can sleep with windows open and just hear the ocean and not have like technology and not worry about checking Twitter or emails or anything every like 5 minutes. So I would love to go to Bora Bora and be somewhere tropical and, you know, go snorkeling, because I've never done that. I've never been in an ocean where you could see like to the sand and the water. Like it's always like dirty ocean. So that's where I would go in a heartbeat. I would go to Bora Bora. When you were little, what did you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a greeting card designer or like an interior decorator. Those were like the two things when I was a little kid. Those are the two things that I wanted to do. I used to sit on the sidewalk outside in the summer, and I would draw greeting cards with my colored pencils, and I would make greeting cards. And I thought that I was the best, and they were like the most horribly drawn, terrible things ever, but I loved doing it. There was a t-shirt, there was a show when I was a little girl called Caroline in the City, and that's what she did. I think she was a redhead too. I always thought redheaded people were the best. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. What are the upsides and downsides to being the only female Minecracker, and why aren't there more? So, there's really not any pros or cons to being the only female Minecracker, because I don't really think of myself as being any different from the guys on the server. Yeah, I have a higher pitched voice. I am very much like pink and glitter and happy rainbows. But in terms of like my sense of humor or the relationships that I have with the guys, I don't feel like my personality is that different from anybody else. We're all friends. I don't get any special advantages. I don't get anything else. And I think the one thing that is really important to know about Minecraft, and we've said this in panels, and I've probably even mentioned it on Reddit when I joined, especially because there was a big deal like, oh, it's the first female Minecracker. But I wasn't picked because I was a female. I had known Good and Pause and Generic and Blame the Control. I'd known many members of Minecraft for, I think, like 2 years before I even joined the server. So it wasn't like they just were like, we need a girl, who can we get? Let's go pick Aureylian. It was just, hey, I was friends, and I was kind of looking for a vanilla server to join, and I had heard Goo talk about, like, oh, I don't even think that there would be any girls that would be interested, and I was like, what am I? And so then that kind of sparked the conversation, and we were talking about girls in the context of, like, a few other things, but again, I think that it was like, oh, well, you're not intimidated of the situation, because the fan base of Minecraft can be a very protective bunch, and so I will admit that originally I was kind of intimidated to take that on and be seen as the girl, because I didn't want people to think that, oh, she's the girl, and I like be held like some like she has to be X pretty, and she has to have so many subscribers, and she has to like have all these credentials and be like Miss America of YouTube that I was never going to be able to live up to. But fortunately, that's not what happened. And as to why there aren't more, I mean, I don't really think that we're discluding anyone on purpose. I think that it's always been a group of friends. And I think that if there comes a time where we have, you know, a female or a male that is really good friends with the group, and we feel like it's a good time for them to be involved in our, you know, day-to-day activities, our meetings, our, you know, server obviously that we play on, the games outside of Minecraft that we play on, who want to participate in our charity events, like if they meet all of the criteria, then we would be happy to bring another female on. But just the same reason we haven't brought a guy on since Sevidus and Chad and Co., there's the same reason for a female. Do you think Boo will ever do YouTube? Is she a YouTube kind of girl? I definitely think that Boo will do YouTube. She and I record videos all the time that you guys have never seen. They're just like in a private library that I have stashed on my computer because she loves it. She loves to watch videos, and she loves to do her own commentary over them. So we've played survival games, and she loves to walk through. She likes to build on just like a creative server and talk about what she's doing. And she's actually really good at it because she's seen me, she watches Stampy, she watches iBallistic Squid, and she's got quite a knack for it at, you know, how she's only 5.5. She's, you know, this big, but she's definitely going to have the skills for it when she gets older, and she has a great sense of humor. She's really funny. So I definitely think that she will do YouTube when she gets older, but right now we're just kind of waiting either for the right time for her or for when she, you know, is really old enough to kind of grasp what that means. But we'll see. Maybe she'll make a cameo in a video of mine soon. But yeah, I definitely think that she'll do YouTube when she gets older. Were you ever worried about your future when you were 18 and did not know what you wanted to do? Was I ever worried? No. I got really upset because I went to college and I went to go into radio broadcasting. That's really what I wanted to do. I loved doing some type of commentary and working with people and having some kind of public presence, but I am also pretty shy, and so being able to kind of hide my face behind you know, the radio was perfect for me, and I thought I would be really great at it. And when I went to college, you had to be accepted into those programs, and I was denied, and I was really, really upset. It was the first time in my life I'd ever been denied for something, especially something that I had tried really hard. I had done radio internships. I worked at, I would later go on to work at Radio Disney and do on-air broadcasting, and I was so bummed and upset, and I had no idea what I was going to do after that. And I mean, I didn't really worry because I figured that like eventually I would go on to do something, and I ended up in a career that was much more fulfilling, I think, than I would have been in radio. But I have a lot of people ask me that question, and what do I do? And I'm 18 and they expect to know what I'm doing in college, and I can tell you right now that even if you pick a career and you decide when you're 30 that it's not what you want, you can change it. It's never, ever, ever too late to change career paths if it's something that you're really passionate about. And a lot of the times the things that you're passionate about will have a way of kind of melding into each other. So for me, when I got denied for that, I ended up working as a wedding planner, and I did that for about 8 years. I did it full time during college, and I went to school. And then when I graduated college, I did event planning for a nonprofit hospital, and I did education classes for physicians and nurses. And I continued wedding planning on the side, like on weekends and stuff, for extra money. And while I was doing that, I also was in magazines. I wrote a lot of freelance articles for wedding magazines about things. I had won a bunch of awards for the events that I had done with the company that I was with, and that kind of relates to what I do now. I help a lot with event organizing at Twitch, whether it's for charities, whether it's for our parties, and it all kind of comes from my experience from that, melded with my experience in the gaming and live streaming industry. So I think that if someone had told me, hey, you're going to work for a gaming company and you're going to be on YouTube and do all this crap later, I would have said, no way, Jose. But knowing that I have a communications degree from college, I had done radio broadcasting, like it all kind of goes hand in hand. So if you pick a career and it's not for you, don't worry about it. Like just do what you can do right now, and if a time comes in the future that you need to change it, like just know that you'll get there. So don't stress about putting your whole life in order when you're 18. Like it's not going to happen, and that's okay. Don't stress. Do you actually watch any YouTube or upload? I do watch YouTube. I watch a lot of things that have nothing to do with gaming. I don't really watch gaming videos. I watch a lot of like makeup tutorials. I love haul videos. So I watch a lot of Super Mary Face. You guys remember her from the makeup tutorial that I did. I got to meet her in person a few months ago and then started watching her channel, and just I think she's adorable and I love her content. I watch Gigi Gorgeous a lot. I love her videos, and just she's really spunky and quirky, and I love how she is just herself unapologetically, and she has kind of tracked her entire progress, and it's just really nice and really refreshing to see somebody kind of embrace the person that they are and embrace the change that they're going through. And I think that she is just a really fun person, so I love watching her videos. I love to watch Marcia's videos. I think she's got a super fun personality, and I like watching her. I like watching Nerdy Nummies because I love baking and crafting things, so I watch a lot of that. I watch Tiffany's channel for a lot of her do-it-yourself videos as well. So I do watch YouTube, but I primarily watch things that are not super gaming related. Any plans to talk more about your life in general, like advice on stuff that you've gone through and think it might help others? Yes and no. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the questions I get asked all the time. Are you going to do a Draw My Life? And the answer is no, I'm not going to do my Draw My Life. Because there's a lot of things in my life that aren't necessarily just about me. And when you have a public presence, you have to be very aware that things that you say about yourself reflect on other people. So me telling stories about my childhood may affect my brother or my mom, or anything that relating to Boo relates to her dad or to her. And it's not really fair for me to just say I'm going to openly talk about this without other people being able to give their side of the story as well. So I'm not going to do a Draw My Life because there's a lot of things and events that have happened in the past that aren't just me, and I have respect for other people, and I just don't think that I am comfortable doing that at this point. But other things about things that are going in my life, absolutely. I have thought about doing a video about some things that are going on with Boo right now, because she's going through some hard times at school with bullying, things like that, and as a parent, I have a different perspective now on that. So definitely I will continue doing videos about things that are going on in my life or experiences that I have, but yeah, no Draw My Life, but I will do other videos and continue doing PSAs. Did you have any previous jobs? So I kind of answered that a little bit before, like about when did you ever worry when you were 18 about what you were going to do in the future? But I have had lots of crazy jobs. So I've been a writer, I've been an event planner, a wedding planner, I was a substitute teacher and a cheerleading coach for a little while. Let's see, what else have I done? I taught cake decorating. I am a mom. That counts as a job. I've worked for Twitch. I've done YouTube. I worked at Radio Disney, and I was like an on-air personality for them, and I did like some internship stuff. I've worked in a human resources type job. Yeah, I have had a lot. I have had a really, really expansive work history for being only 28, and 3 of those were spent at home just being a mom. So and I owned my own business. I owned my own sewing business. So yeah, I've had a lot of previous jobs. What are your thoughts on homosexual marriage? And I included this question. I've stated this in previous videos before, but I included this because I just talked about it on our panel, our Minecraft panel at PAX. And I think it's like super key to kind of talk about these things and bring it up when people ask, because there's a lot of people that are curious about these things. And I mean, I don't understand why it's still a question. Like, what are your thoughts about it? it's marriage. Like, I can get married to a man. Why couldn't I get married to a woman? Like, you love who you love, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think that there's anything unnatural about it. I think that love is a beautiful thing, and I think that in our day and age where we have a lot of bad things going on and people are stressed out as it is, I think it's really unfortunate that we're going to stress people out even more by dictating who they're allowed to love. I just think that's a really crummy situation, and I don't see any negative to that. I know that there are people that have their own religious concerns, and I know that there are people who, for their own personal reasons, don't feel like it's right. But I don't feel like any individual has the right to put their own personal preferences or their own personal religion onto other people. It's just not possible. Just because I believe in something doesn't mean that everyone else has to believe in that, and I think that it's fine. I brought it up on the Minecraft panel specifically because in my Sims 4 series, when I had one female character fall in love with the other female character, after you can watch the videos after being rejected and having uncomfortable situations with boys over and over and over again, she fell in love with a woman, and I was like so stoked about it, and people threatened to leave my channel, and I said, bye, Felicia. Like, bye. I'm not going to change or expect other people to change because that's not what you're comfortable with, because the world does not revolve around any one individual, and it should revolve around all of us together as a unit. And that means we have to be accepting of others. It means that we have to be tolerant when we don't agree with someone. And it means that we have to love people regardless of what their orientation or their religion or anything else is. So my thoughts on homosexual marriages: do it. Everyone should get married if you want to get married. If you could make a video for your daughter and have her watch it later in life, what would you say? So I actually recorded a video about this about a month and a half ago, and I was like bawling halfway through it, and I ended up not posting it ever on YouTube, and I don't even think that it is on my computer right now. But with all of the things that Boo is going through in school right now, and just with some other struggles that she's having, I mean, I think the general gist of the video would basically be revolved around me just telling her that no matter what she goes through in life, and no matter what kind of a person she turns out to be, I will always love her. And I think it's so important for kids to understand that their parents love them unconditionally. And unconditionally doesn't mean unless they're this or unless they're this. I don't care if she grows up and wants to dye her hair black. I don't care if she wants to cover her body in tattoos. I don't care if she wants to be a lawyer or an artist or a YouTuber or whatever she wants to be. I don't care if she loves a man or a woman or decides that she wants to be single for her entire life. If she has kids or she decides she doesn't want kids. I don't care about any of those things. Those are all small, just not things that matter in the grand scheme of life. To me, the most important thing that I could ever express to my daughter is that she's loved beyond any measure that I could ever provide. I will love my daughter till the day that I die, and probably after that. I can't express enough how important it is for her and for every child to understand that their parents love them and care about them. And even when they are bad, even when they're in trouble in school, even when she gets an F and she tried really hard and she failed something, I don't care. I just want her to be happy. And I want her to know that she is beautiful the way that she is and the way that she chooses to be, and that nothing is ever going to change how much I love her intelligence and her wit and her looks and everything else. As a parent, that's the only thing that matters to me, and that's probably what I would say, only maybe better worded. I mean, I guess now it's on a video for her to see for forever, so there you go, Boo. Sorry, mommy looks like a hot mess most of the time. And the last question is, do you ever get annoyed by people asking you personal questions or just questions in general? No, not really. I know that there were times where people can get pretty invasive about things, and people can ask questions that I'm not comfortable with. And in those situations, I just choose not to answer them. There are tons of questions that I get all the time about topics that I really don't feel comfortable sharing, or things that I don't really feel are important to talk about, whether it be about my personal life, my relationships, whoever it may be. It could be a question about how do you feel about another YouTuber, and I may not answer those questions because I don't really, feel like any criticisms or anything that I may have are beneficial to be out there. So there are a lot of times where I get asked questions that I don't feel comfortable answering, but it's okay. I'd rather people come and ask me them than to just make something up, which also happens. So no, I don't ever get annoyed by people asking personal questions. It doesn't mean that I'm going to answer them all the time, but I also understand that being kind of a public figure, people get really curious about things, and people want to know about details of my life. It's why we look up interesting facts about celebrities. It's why people read gossip magazines, because they're curious. It's kind of a unique situation that I'm in. Like, I talk on the internet to people, and people listen and comment. That's kind of a unique situation. So I understand the curiosity that people may have. The only time that it really kind of gets under my skin is that when people choose to just make things up online, or they choose to fill in details where it behooves them, or where they get a personal benefit from, because I've seen a lot of things online that just are not true about me specifically, and I think that's the most frustrating part. When that happens, I tend to just let it go, because there's really, especially when it's a topic that I'm uncomfortable talking about, there's no benefit to me going and saying let's ignore the topic you were discussing, but this one fact was incorrect. It doesn't really do any good. So that's the only time, but I get that it happens. Again, people are curious. They want to talk about it or have discussions or whatever, but please don't. Please don't do that. My life isn't that interesting, so don't make it more interesting by filling in not true details. But yeah, so there you go. All right, guys, so that was my 15 questions that I chose to answer. Maybe we'll make this a monthly thing. We'll do this every month, and you guys can pick 15 more questions, and we'll do it kind of often. It's kind of fun seeing some of the questions that you guys have. This one was kind of a serious. Maybe we'll do a super goofy one in the future. But yeah, so thank you guys as always for watching. Thank you for all of the love and support that you give me, both on Twitter and on my Ask.fm, on Instagram when I post pictures, on the YouTube videos, everything else. I definitely appreciate it. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to shoot on over to ask.fm/Aureylian. Ask away. I'll try to answer as much as I can. But other than that, I hope you guys have a beautiful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you in game soon. Bye!